Back to the basics. I brought one hour down so many times you don't want to even get up and just face it. You've been doing your best, trying to test every nest to find the best one you can lay in. That's why the CoRe project is here to help you gain skills to help you succeed and build your own nest. Springboard you to success. Nah, you go break through. Charlie, even COVID can defeat you. Search inside your core and you see you got the MasterCard of life in you. And it's so true, it is past due. So don't let nobody deceive you. I brought one here doing crack. I say any that's so hot. So this is what you should do. Charlie, still move.
It's your favorite Thursday night hangout here, and we want to make it even bigger. Join the CoRe Challenge to win for yourself the Career Starter Pack Kit. Tell us, what is your biggest takeaway from our job readiness series, and you stand a chance of winning a book from Albert and Comfort Okran with other exciting prizes. You will also join them live on the CoRe Hangouts. All you have to do is share, retweet, repost with the hashtag CoRe Hangout across any social media platform. The post with the highest engagement wins. Deadline for this challenge is on the 24th of November 2020. The winner will be announced on our CoRe Hangout showdown in November. What can you do with our funky jingle? Show us what you've got and win amazing prizes from the CoRe program. Record a video of yourself doing something creative with our CoRe jingle. It could be dancing, rapping, singing, anything. And share it with the hashtag CoReWow to make the entry. Videos will be shortlisted and winners will be selected from a poll by our beneficiaries. It's time to show the world what you've got. Join the CoRe Fun Ride. Contest ends on the 24th of November 2020. The winner will be announced via our social media handles.
Search inside your core and you see you got the MasterCard of life in you. And it's so true, it is past due. So don't let nobody deceive you. I brought one here.
Maybe vakwale all of you were made. We have eyes but cannot see, ears but cannot hear. They have a voice but cannot speak to us, the great and powerful Homo sapiens. The story is set in 1893. When the first boats breached our shores, they came on a shopping spree, but disguised as good men on a course seeking the imaginary lost. Gullible was my father's father. Greedy they perceived our people, with both hands we received, with open hands we traded off the currency, a shiny mirror. Those were the days our lakes still gleamed. Food was abundant as our river streamed, trees and flowers towered high above, thick forest providing respite for Noah's dove. But naive we remained even till this day. A different breed, a different seed, a different color, a different creed bets on our modern day shore. Same modus operandi, but with a twist. One head gives, the other one takes. Building roads, schools, bridges, I am told, while creating a black hole for others to get a piece. Protected by those sworn to keep the peace. A voice is crying out in the wilderness. A mother is mourning her loss. A Sasia is deep in anguish. Her creation on the verge, raped, tortured, and abused by those who she gives life to. Till when would we stand aloof? When would we realize? When will the scales fall from our greedy eyes? When we die? 1883 all over again. Ankobra, Ayensu, Birim, Densu. Precious trees of our forest too. wonderful inhabitants of our waters too. A stranger is allowed to plunge our home. He goes back to build his own. Oh, Ghana. Open your eyes. A devi, Vlaruku. Wanana hafina kuela bidi. Ahu majola mo de udwoya. Mebinka ahu majola mo de udwoya. Oh, mausu bulisa. Oh, kitty kata. Mauwa boasi plafo. Enyanana magatre kawulu elabi. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish I could, actually say something, but I can't because Mau Sobolisa. He's God what?
He's the God all powerful, Almighty.
God all powerful. And I had different languages. What languages do you speak today?
I spoke of her.
And I know Ever was the primary, but then you had other languages in there, or didn't you?
I didn't. It's just ever throughout.
It was ever throughout.
Yes.
But the accent was also different at some points.
Yes, the accent was just
Can
African.
you use the mic so that our guests can hear?
The accent is African.
African, yes, because I thought that somewhere along the line I thought you were East African, and I was looking at you and I was thinking that sounds like a Swahili accent, and then you moved somewhere else, and I was like, okay, so now I'm lost. So I definitely wanted to find out, how did you get there? How did you build those different accents that you put into your poetry recital?
Well, I was trying to find myself because of the name I want to use, the brand. And initially when I started, it wasn't going well with my brand. So my mentor was like, can you find yourself somewhere that you can feel comfortable, that can actually run along with your brand? And I was like, okay, it's easy for me to speak the way like I do with poetry. So I just decided to go along with that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ajovishika. We'll be hearing from Ajovishika along the way, don't you? Fantastic. So thank you for joining us on your favorite Springboard CoRe Hangout. It is the one that we all look forward to on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. And thank you for being here today. I know that today we are going to have a fantastic time because, hang in there are things that we have to discover. Sometimes every single one of us, we have issues in life. We go through things that we don't understand, and it seems like we're in a dark place. And so how do we cope during those periods? Secondly, are there anything, or is there anything like any coping mechanism? How do we use it? When do we use it? Should we even use it? These are questions we need to find answers to, since we are in a very interesting time in our lives right now. Secondly, what if someone goes through what we all kind of secretly dread, but we put a brave face to it, what we call the COVID-19? Well, how does that person cope? Today, on your favorite Hangout, we are looking at all these and more. So don't go anywhere. Call a friend, tag a friend, tell the person, come in, because today we are dealing with a very important topic here on your favorite Hangout. Additionally, I want you to remember, our CoRe program is sponsored by the Springboard, it's initiated by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with Solidaridad and the MasterCard Foundation. I tell you, don't go anywhere because this is going to be lit. Stay in touch. We'll be back right after this commercial break.
Are you a young person dealing with the disruptions caused by COVID-19 to our careers, education, health, and social lives? Welcome to the CoRe program, an e-learning, e-mentoring, and e-counseling program designed to equip you with diverse skills to enable you to thrive now and even beyond this pandemic. We encourage you to download the video, audio, and workbook for each episode for free on the CoRe program website, www.core.com.gh. If you are an MTN user in Ghana, you can download all videos, audios, or workbooks on our website without using your data. It's completely zero rated. And here's the bonus benefit: if you register on the website and go through a minimum of the 20 of the 24 sessions before the end of November, you will qualify for a certificate of completion from the CoRe program. We will be very excited to hear from you. Post your questions and comments on our social media pages at CoRe program, or send them to us on the CoRe WhatsApp hotline 0551 535 533. CoRe, learning together, growing together.
Welcome back. As you know, today you are on our favorite hotline, and we are looking at a very fantastic topic today on your Springboard CoRe Hangout. Today, I am privileged to be joined by our one and only CoRe Senanu Ajusi. She is a professional counseling practitioner and works as an assistant emotional counselor at the SOS Herman SOS College in Tema. You know, CoRe is also the CEO of the Heart Group, and I have very, very fond memories of the Heart Group, and especially of the role they have played in Springboard Roadshow, because we have this program that we do with teenagers that we call the Teenpreneurship. And Heart Group have been part of our volunteers and counselors whenever we are having a teenpreneurship. This year, because of COVID, we didn't have in-person we did a digital version, and it was a blast, I can tell you. Next time, let your teenagers be part of it. But Heart Group have been part of the teenpreneurship program over the years. And today, she is now the CEO of the Heart Group. She is married to Dr. Della Ajusi, who is a pediatric cardiologist, and they have two lovely kids. You know, her primary mission in life is to use a gift of encouragement to give people a vision about themselves, and also be noble, and let the people be noble, wonderful, caring people who are capable of changing and being agents of change in the world. CoRe will first give us a framework. When we work with that framework, we'll now come to somebody who has actually gone through a crisis and come out of it and find out how he navigated that space. I don't know whether it was dark. Maybe he's just, you know, very, very Superman. You know, Superman does everything, and it's like very, very simple. So we'll find out about how he managed it. So, CoRe, you're welcome to the Springboard CoRe Hangouts.
Thank you very much.
You know, the Springboard CoRe Hangout is one of my favorite times of the week, because I know I'm going to have a lot of fun. So tell me, how do people generally react when they come face to face with a crisis?
Wow, that's a challenging one. I think that it depends on the person. Mm-hmm. It depends on their personality. It depends on the skills that they've gained. It depends on their experiences. We have people who have gone through a lot in life, mm-hmm. and they might have developed the resilience to get through anything that is thrown at them. Mm-hmm. It depends on their mind frame. It depends on their attitudes. There are a lot of things that come together to make you resilient, and then, if you have to go through it, to help you recover. And those are very, very important. I'd like to start from the intangibles. I'll call them the alpha.
Okay.
The intangibles.
So we are starting with intangibles that she calls alpha.
Yes.
What are those intangibles?
Those intangibles are faith, hope,
okay,
and love.
None of them are physical.
No.
Okay.
Intangibles. Intangibles.
Yeah,
and it's funny because, I know that in recent times you hear statements like, hope is not a strategy. Mm. You cannot use hope. Mm. And I agree. Mm-hmm. Hope is not a strategy. Mm-hmm. It's above strategy.
It's above.
It's above strategy. It comes before you strategize.
Okay.
Because what are you strategizing for if you have no hope that there will be a future to live? What are you making plans and putting in place measures if you don't trust that somehow you will get through it? You have the strength to get through it, or there's someone who's looking over your shoulder. I'm a believer. I love the Lord. And so I know that whilst He gives me breath and there's work to be done, I'm not going anywhere. And that is hope. I have faith in Him that He'll get me through. And then love for God, love for humanity means that I must survive, because there are some people. There's Carnelian, my eldest daughter. There's Citrin, my second daughter, and the children to come who are dependent on me getting through this. And so these are intangibles, but they're so important. you know. So I don't want us to throw them out of the window. So I would say that that's the first thing that you have to do.
We can call that the foundation.
The foundation.
Okay.
The alpha, the first.
The foundation. The first is hope, love, and faith.
Yes.
Right. So Rami Rabel says hello, and Liz Abwaji says thanks. And Liz Abwaji is actually telling us where she's watching us from. She's watching us from Pokwase. And Anthony is joining from 37 Liberation Road. So where are you joining us from? Can you let us know so that Caris would go? Because we've started, I can see the building. I mean, I can actually see that this building is going to be a fantastic one. So don't go. So you've got the foundation, which is hope, love, and faith.
Yes.
Right. So what do we add?
So now accept reality. Another
Accept reality.
Accept reality.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is we cannot behave like business as usual.
Okay.
I'll borrow a phrase from the business world. They say that now the new reality is VUCA.
Yeah.
VUCA, which is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the matter. And so you have to realize that things will be changing from time to time. And you have to know that you have to be ready for it. It'll be complex. It's not just a simple matter of, I remember when COVID came, some people were like, why doesn't the president just shut down everything immediately?
Yeah, I was one of those almost.
Yes. But then you begin to think about people whose livelihood, they don't have that 10,000 in the bank so that they can take some out and go and stock food. You know, they can't. Theirs is the little sugar every day. That is what they can afford. So then you realize that it's not so simple, and he cannot just think about people who are of this ability. He has to think about the entire nation.
Yeah.
So things are complex, and things are a bit ambiguous. You know, I think part of it is the ability to come out and say that it's not a simple situation. It's not a straightforward situation. I don't have all the answers, but we are working through it. So VUCA, realize that you are in a new reality. Next, you have to be adaptable. You have to adapt. So adaptability is the third thing I will talk about. So alpha, the intangibles. Next, accept reality. Next, adaptability. Whether you are at home, whether you are at work, or in your relationships, it's not going to be the same old stuff. You know, at work, now they'll tell you that bring your own device, you work on your phone a bit, you work on the laptop a bit, and we provide some credit, but you have to sort out the rest. You work from home some days, we call you in some days. That means maybe as a working mother, you need to figure out care for the children. Some days you'll be home, they'll get used to you, but they need to know that the second week, you're going to be going to the office.
Okay.
You have to be adaptable. The next thing is you have to apply yourself. You know, you have to work hard and work smart, and don't take the opportunities you have or the job you have for granted. Apply yourself. Think. Be quiet. Think through things and figure out how to do it even better. Then the next thing is your attitude. 6 is your attitude.
Are you sure it's 6? I have 5.
You know, there was one that I kind of dropped. I'll come to it.
Okay.
I'll bring it back. You see, so it's spotted 6.
Okay, so it's
attitude,
5.
Attitude as 5.
Okay.
You keep an attitude of gratitude. You have positive expectation. What I said in the beginning, that hope, love, and faith, that you will come through this situation. You learn, you unlearn, you relearn.
Okay.
You have to have that attitude when you're going to work. So your attitude is very crucial. And this one, I really like it. You have to be altruistic.
Yeah.
Think about other people.
Yeah.
You know, if you are constantly caught up in me and things are not working out for me, and I used to go to the beach and now I can't, and I used to be able to go to church and now I can't, and it's me, you're going to be miserable.
Thank you.
But when you begin to think about other people, you actually begin to be very grateful for what you have. You begin to encourage other people. You begin to be a blessing to other people. One thing that happened very early when COVID started is people started stockpiling. I mean, we were worried that what if the food disappears and everything. So you were thinking, buy food for at least a month, at least. And so I had the blessing of not having to think too hard, where will I find the money? And I went to buy some stuff. And when I bought it, somehow, I think it must have been the Holy Spirit. He just said, you know, make little packages for people who might not be able to afford. And so I just took some black bags and I would put 5 kilos rice, a little bit of oil, some tinned tomatoes, this and this. And I made a few of this. And so people who I knew were thinking, where will I get my next meal from? Like maybe a security guard, or a lady who comes around and sews clothes, or someone like that. I had the blessing to give those out to them. And so it just made me realize just how blessed I am not to worry about where I'll get food from. And it was such a blessing. You know, people don't realize that when an elderly person or someone in need says, God bless you,
Oh, Lord.
that is such a precious gift.
Yes, it is.
You know, so be altruistic. Be altruistic. So that is 6, but I don't like 6. I like 7.
Okay, yeah,
which is why
I do. So let's add the 7th one.
Let's add the 7th one. I would have started with just acknowledging where we are. I would have taken just a few minutes of silence if you're sitting somewhere, just to acknowledge where we are and how far we've come. That's my first A. Acknowledge where we are. In March 14th, 16th, I was at school when we were told that, okay, the next 2 days, now the president says we're not going to have school anymore. And we didn't understand what was going on. We just knew that we were going to pack our bags and go home. And that has been more than 6 months. The Lord has brought us this far. Some people are not with us. A lot of people are not with us. And yet we are here. So I think one of the ways to be resilient and to get through things, to recover, to stand up, to begin again, is by acknowledging where you are and how far the Lord has brought us. So those are my 7 points. I would say acknowledge where you are. Alpha, the intangibles. Accept your reality. We're in the VUCA today. Adaptability, be adaptable. Apply yourself. Don't be lazy. Have an attitude of gratitude, a good positive attitude, and be altruistic. Think about other people. You'll go very far. So that's my startup.
You know, when the bullets are coming and you see them coming boo, 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 like that, you know, this is more than a semi-auto rifle be shooting, you know, at us. So if you are like me, you sit down and, you know, take guard. Okay, so what we started with, you see, Carrie's just went zoomed, and that is what I like about this, because she's giving us a framework. And so with that framework, we'll now go to our next guest, who I'm sure you are willing, you are hanging on. But before we go to him, actually, I want to acknowledge those of you who are on with us today. And we have Nana Atu Kwamna Forson, you joining us from Dansoman. Thank you, Nana, for being with us. And then we have Lily Ando. You are watching live from Takwa in the Western region. And we have David watching from Kotobabi in Accra. Christ Amwatin, you are Amwatin Kwapong. You are joining us from Ahafo. In the Middle Belt. And then Kelvin Kwesi Kwanzaa, you are joining us from Jamestown in Accra. Charlie, when we finish, actually today Accra I did, but it doesn't matter. Top up. I'll come and get some kinky and fish. Make I see how far. And then we have Abdullahi Papaza. You are watching from Kumasi. Midoma, you are watching live on. You are watching from Kumasi, Midoma. And then you're watching live on Facebook. All these what I'm talking about are watching from Facebook. Zoom people, they are leaving you behind, though, so you better come on board quickly. So let us know where you are watching us from. Abdullah says that the best of all programs. Thank you. I know, because it's for you. And you give us what you want to do, you want to talk about. So it is definitely your program. It's always the best. Thursday night, you know, cool, Charlie, you know. And then Mabel Sachi is also watching from Wager. Thank you. Let your question, let us know where you are watching us from. Call a friend, send the link to someone, tell them this is the place to be. Give us our hashtag CoRe Hangouts, and you know we have to trend as usual, because I mean we always trend. So when Carrie spoke, she gave us 7 A's. She started with B first, the alpha, talked about the intangibles of hope, love, and faith. And then from there, she moved into accepting reality. She talked about VUCA being volatility, uncertainty, being complex, and also ambiguous. Now, the next thing that, I mean, and I would actually ask her, because I have heard of this VUCA, but I've heard of VUCA too. Yes, we talks about vision and then other things. So we'll work with the VUCA too. When we finish with this one, then we'll drill down to VUCA too, because that, I like that one as well, because it gives hope. Then 3 is adaptability. You know, the need for you to look at what is going on and how you would make that. No, I'll leave it to you. You explain again. You make that part of your life. And then 4 is apply yourself. Because the thing is happening to who? You. It's not happening to anybody else. So if you think that somebody else will feel your pain for you, it ain't gonna happen. So apply yourself. Number 5, your attitude. And part of that is about how you learn during that period. Some of the things that you realize is, I ain't working, you unlearn it, and then you need for you to relearn. And then be altruistic. Think about others. And that is ALTRUISTIC, being altruistic, you know, thinking about others, and then acknowledging your blessings and how far you have come from where you started. There's always should be progress in your life. And the church shall say amen. Yes, this is the local church. Right. So we are privileged in this program to also have someone. This gentleman has had an interesting past couple of months. Yeah. This couple is more than 2, so a number of months. James has unfortunately had the issue of having what we're all hiding from. Wherever he was hiding, whether it was under a tree, it was under a rock, COVID found him. Can you tell us about your story?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I'll go back a bit and also try to relate to what she said so far. So I think when the first issue of COVID broke out in Ghana, I happened to be in Kumasi, but I work in Accra.
Okay.
But I was in Kumasi for a conference. So just when we heard that the first case had been recorded in Ghana at the conference, we all became worried. Then the organizer of the conference got us rubbing alcohol, and then we started observing the protocols as we had learned from other countries that had been already hit. Then we came back to Accra and then resumed work as usual. Somewhere along the line, like she was saying, I began to face reality, because I also say that it's good that you know yourself. When the news first broke out, my mom was worried about me, because I'm somebody who has very little resistance to flu.
Oh dear.
And this is also a viral disease that is quite similar to flu, common flu, that's it. Yeah, so at that instance, I had to get myself some medical supplies that would help boost my immune system. So professional that I'm in, at least I have a little bit knowledge about what to get. So I got vitamin C, the highest dose, that is 1,000 milligram dispersible, and then also some zinc, enough supply to keep me. And when I'm running out, then I go get another one. So I was taking those on a daily basis. Along the line, I happened to see was more like a questionnaire on Facebook. A friend of mine had posted it about, I think he was trying to do some research about people's knowledge of the disease and what they think about it. So as part of the questions, one that struck me most was, how long do you think it would take before you actually contract the disease? And then having learned about the mobility of the disease, I sometimes thought to myself, well, the way I go about my things, I'm sure if it doesn't end anytime soon, within about 3 to 6 months, I'm sure I'd have contracted it. So yeah, so that was it. It wasn't until a case of COVID was reported where I work, and that's at the Food and Drugs Authority. So then it became mandatory or compulsory for them to come do the contact tracing at the facility. Initially, I wasn't feeling sick or I didn't feel ill, so I didn't want to take it. But towards the end, a mandate impressed on us that it was compulsory that each and every one of us took the test. So I took mine on a certain Monday, I think towards the end of June. Then right from taking the test, I went out for another meeting, came back, continued my work. So somewhere Thursday within that same week, I was at work, going about my normal duties as usual. And I got a call around 2 p.m., 3 p.m. thereabout from our human resource manager. Then she broke the news to me that your test results came out positive. I was like, okay, so what next? Then she asked, would you like me to talk to your immediate supervisor about it, or you talk to him yourself? I'm like, oh, I don't mind telling him, but I think that for official communication purposes, you should also call him. So after the call ended, I sat down for a minute. My colleague, at that point, I think I was the only one in the room, so nobody actually heard the conversation that was going on between me and then the HR manager. So I sat down for a minute. Then I thought how to break the news. Okay, so I'm somebody who likes to diffuse tension, let me put it that way. So I felt a very nice, and I'm good at cracking jokes sometimes too. So I went to my immediate supervisor and I told him that, well, this is what the HR just called me and then broke the news to me that my test results came out positive. So I would have to stop whatever I'm doing and then go home as soon as possible. Then I went to a common area where my colleagues and myself said to work. Then I told them, okay, so here's the thing. My results came out positive, and since I've been with them for the past, we're doing 2-week rotations. So I've been with them for a week and a half, I should say. So since my results have come in positive, they should also be mindful that since we've been together, it's possible that they may also have contracted the disease. So I told them, but I said it in a joking way, and they were all laughing. They didn't still believe that what I was saying was true. So I sent my wife a message via text message, WhatsApp actually, that this was a thing. And before, she also didn't believe. So before I could actually confirm to her, somebody else within the office had communicated to her that this was a thing, and was it true? And she was like, well, I was also just telling her. So that was it. So I packed my stuff and I bid them goodbye. And then I think on my way driving home was a little bit of psychological battle, because within myself I wasn't feeling sick. I thought very normal till the news was broke to me. But driving home, a lot of things were going through my mind. So I think that almost getting home, I stopped by another pharmacy to get more vitamin C and zinc. I got done, I think, hurriedly, or because of the thoughts that was going on in my mind. I entered the pharmacy shop, forgetting that my wallet was in the car. And I got there and I was like, Mikra, what is wrong with me? I'm normal. Somebody says I'm sick, but I don't feel sick. I came back for my wallet, went to buy the medicine, and then I go home. Then the next thing was, okay, so what to do from then? When the HR called, she had said that she would give the contact of a certain medical professional to assist me. But I wasn't sure whether it was counseling or to ask about how I'm feeling and whether they should come for me to a treatment facility and all that. So I go home around 5 p.m. Went through the evening as a normal evening. The following day I waited for the number for the doctor. It wasn't coming through, so I called the HR. She didn't answer. So I think 2 days later, she sent a certain number. Then I also broke the news to my parents, because I know if they got to know, but I wanted them to know that I'm fine and that I'd actually made progress with how I was going to get treatment and get counseling and all that. So once I broke the news to them, I broke the news to my parents through my mom. Then I asked her to inform my dad also.
Why that way?
Well, I didn't have to break it to the two of them, and I thought that my mom would be able to break the news to my dad better. So she did. And just after she did, I think a few minutes or hours later, my dad also called. And he was also quite influential. So he happened to get me the contact of someone who was also, a doctor who was on the national COVID treatment team or whatever. So he asked how I was doing and where I was and who I was living with and the living conditions in my home. So I was like, okay, at the moment I'm with my wife. Our son happened to be with their grandparents, so we didn't have to worry about him. But even then, we had come into contact at some point. Within 2 weeks, because we had learned that the period was between 2 to 14 days before he started showing symptoms. So if I tested positive and I had come into contact, then the worry was that, okay, he could also have contracted it and then also given it to my grandparents, my in-laws, that is. So the doctor helped us to get in touch with the district in which I live. And then I spoke to them. It took a couple of days before they were able to come take samples of my wife. Then my in-laws also were in another district, so they also got contact, they traced, and then they went to take their samples. But for a long time, you call and we're like, the results are not ready, and that if for any reason you're not hearing the results of your test, then it means that you are fine and there's nothing wrong. So that was the assurance that we lived with, that once the results were not coming, then they were fine. But my parents, especially my dad, was not convinced. He wanted to know that the results was positive and all that, or was negative, and that everything was fine. So they asked me at some point, they were like, are you showing any symptoms? And I was like, no.
So did you in the end show symptoms?
No, I didn't show any symptoms. Except that there were more symptoms than were being broadcast, because they actually sent me a certain template that shows other symptoms like diarrhea and nausea and stuff like that. Then it was then I realized that, okay, I was feeling nauseous sometimes, and sometimes a little abdominal upsets.
So you had the mild case? I'm
sure very mild. Very mild. Okay. So I should say a friendly one, for the matter.
Yes, I know, because a friend of mine came here the other day, and he was telling about how his COVID was such that he just had to bend over, and he couldn't sleep, and it was as if there was some huge weight on his chest, and he kept on coughing, and so you definitely had a mild one.
Yeah, mild.
So in those 2 weeks that you were not, in those weeks, 2 weeks when they had come for another test, and then the family was also being tested to see if they have been exposed, and therefore they were sick and that kind of stuff. How did did you feel guilty? Did somebody accuse you of exposing them? What were the attitude of people around you and you yourself to yourself?
Okay, so fortunately, I'm a quiet person, so I didn't bring the news to many people, except for family and those I work with who had already had knowledge that I had contracted the illness. So, and within the household also, I think it's about 4 households where we live. No one knew that I had, because I wasn't going out, I took the responsibility to stay home and not go out. On a few occasions when I had to go out, I stayed in the car, and then my wife went to do whatever she had to do, and then she came back. So I only felt like I was just hopeful that, my in-laws wouldn't contract and my son would be fine. And I was also quite worried because generally those who, your friends will be worried. And sometimes even when you're showing them that everything is fine, it's like they're not convinced that, because of course they've heard news about it, stuff like that. So yeah, the only thing I felt was that people should rest assured that James is fine. Yeah, and I didn't bring the news to too many people. Okay. I think there was once I was driving and a certain friend of mine who was on a motorbike was coming close, and I told him to stay away or he should keep his distance. So he said at that point he didn't understand what I meant. But later when he go home and he was thinking about the whole incident, then it occurred to me that I might have contracted. So he called me and I was like, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Then he was like, oh, okay,
yeah. So you were one of those responsible ones, not those who wanted to, because I have got it, you got to get it too.
And there's several things that James said that just stand out to me.
Yeah.
I really, I like the fact that even in breaking it to your father or your parents, you could tell them that these are the steps I've taken. It really makes a difference in resilience and recovery, and how people take news when you can give them some assurance that there's a little bit of control. I mean, the disease is there, but at least I'm taking my vitamin C, I'm applying my knowledge from the work I do, and this is going here. Then, of course, his personality, as he describes himself, he's a little quiet, tiny reserved, he stays to himself. But that also helps with keeping the blood pressure down, because there are some people who get the same news, and it's like, tell the whole world.
The world is coming to an
I'm
end.
telling you. And then they...
Let chicken little.
Everything. And the mind begins to race. And it's like, oh, so this means this, and this means this. And then they start imagining themselves like the pictures they've seen on TV in New York.
Yeah.
And you're like, dial back a bit. We're not yet there. So the attitude of the person and the personality of the person really does make a difference. And hope. He talks about hope.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So
I had to keep convincing myself that I was fine because I wasn't showing too many symptoms. So
yeah,
that was it.
So the hope kept you alive, and I mean,
it kept me as normal as I felt then.
So here we are. You started a bit with some coping mechanisms that you just shared from his story, and then we were also able to trace some of the things that he did that helped him in his space, and also help keep other people safe.
Yeah.
Because somebody can actually hug you, even though the person I heard of this person who was sitting in the office, and she was displaying signs of COVID, and was giving the news around 2 o'clock, sat in the office till 5 o'clock, interacted with different people as if everything is normal. Then when it was time to go, sent a message that, oh, by the way, I got a call from these people, and I have been told that I am positive. And you are displaying the signs as well.
I don't want to be harsh, but
No, don't be harsh. I mean, but you. So he or she is not the person in this thing, but
it's
well,
okay. As we said, different people react differently.
So I should think that it probably depends on.
Maybe she was trying to normalize it.
Yeah.
Maybe she hadn't yet accepted the fact that she was sick. So she was trying to say, can I walk up to this person? Can I interact?
No,
can they see it on my face?
Did normal things. If you have to go and see somebody about a particular,
went to
see the person, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but it takes a certain strength of mind to come to that point of acceptance and quickly move into that phase of what do I need to do to protect those who I love. That is also a very good sign for someone who is resilient and can recover. That you need to realize that things are volatile. You need to change. You need to move. You need to sit up. You know, I often describe myself as a phlegmatic. I'm a chilled human being. But leadership, of course, teaches you that some things need to be done
quick
responses. And when it comes to, like, when you become a mother, you hear your child's voice. In as chilled as you are, you're gonna do a Usain Bolt to that place. And so in that sense, when you begin to have that empathy for other people in your community, then you need to quickly begin to think, what do I need to do to make sure they are also safe? It's not comfortable to tell even your closest friends or the ones who would have loved to visit you that you have COVID. There's the risk that there might be some stigma. But you take that risk on yourself and you say, I would rather suffer stigma than put them in danger. That's where you think about them more than yourself. So these are some of the things that I really appreciate from Jane's story.
Fantastic. And I know that our listeners and our viewers are also appreciating this story, because I have John T, who says he's watching us from London. Big ups. Today you are taking the prize for the furthest watcher today. You've got the prize straight up. We also have Nanekia watching from Pokwase, and we have Richard Abuaji. You are watching from Second D, and Atukwamna, you watching us straight from Swedru. Yajira, you are from Asofan. I don't know what Asofan is, but
John Tabe towards Pokwase.
Oh, okay, right.
So from Achimota towards Pokwase.
Okay. And Bonsa da Costa says, very interesting. And I think he knows you because he says, that's my chairman, James.
So I should know who that is then.
Quincy Chira says, I love the topic. Your resilience, your recovery. In other words, you cannot have a recovery in life as a Christian until you become resilient in your approach.
You must.
And then Liliando says, a boss. I salute. so I think either you or you, which one will take it?
I'm boss lady.
You're boss lady. And so he's a boss,
He's
right?
boss.
So Liliandro is saluting you. Great. Thank you for all those comments you're sending us. Do keep them coming through. Shortly we'll be hearing another beautiful poetry recital from Ajo. So don't go anywhere. But Karis,
yes,
you know, we are here and people have encountered the socioeconomic fallout of COVID. Yes. We have the physical or the health related fallout which he suffered. Yes. He, I'm sure, didn't really go through it. Did you have any socioeconomic fallout, financial? No, I don't think so.
It was manageable. If whatever I did was manageable.
It was manageable.
Just getting medication at my own cost, and that was it. And then at that point, the protocol had changed because after going through a certain days of treatments, if you were not dead, then what the protocol was is that then you had recovered.
Yes.
But then again,
that was interesting.
Then my dad again insisted that I should still to the second test. So I had to do it privately. Yeah. And then also bear the cost for that. So, but it was manageable for me as an individual, yes.
Okay. But some people lost their jobs. Some people had 50% pay cut. Some people had 30% pay cut. So, and some of them, I mean, like, my daughter, for instance, was supposed to be starting her national service. And then where she was posted to, she went there and they said, this year we aren't taking any national service people. So she had an issue with her posting. So the possible funds that she could have been receiving from national service, that one too went away. So in that case, she couldn't get her job placement. So there are people who have had all sorts of disruptions in their life.
Very realistic disruptions. I think about the hospitality and the travel industry. Major. I mean, it was basically a shutdown.
Yeah.
You know, there was no money, there were no funds coming in, and people lost their jobs, or they had to take that 50% or wait till the industry picked up again. So that's really, really major. A few people at home try to use their giftings in a little way. There was an interesting experience I had. I was coming out of my in-laws' house in East Legon, and these two young gentlemen came to try and sell us hand sanitizer, which was excellent. And I would salute them for that, but they were not wearing face masks. So I was like, please, I can't buy. I mean, you're being an entrepreneur, I love that, but I can't buy.
Nope. So did they learn from that?
I hope they did. I hope they went and covered up, and then the next person was more successful. But that ability to think, what can I do? What oil? What do you have in your house? Oh, I just have a jar of oil. Bring that jar of oil.
Definitely on the CoRe program. One of the things what we do on this program is to do some 15-minute learning episodes, and in those learning episodes we talk about different topics. During the beginning in July, we talked about discovering your talent. We talked about doing business with your talent. We say doing business a new normal. And as a result of that, we've had fantastic feedback from you, our listeners, for those who watch those episodes. And some of you have shared information about how somebody said she had trained as an electrician, had her own business, and she was doing her electrical works. But during the deep time, there was no real work going on, so nobody was building, nobody was calling her. And then when she listened to the doing business with your talent, she realized that she can do anything with flour. I like the way she put it. I do anything with flour. So she started doing baking. And so she now is doing baking products for different, and she was, I've forgotten where she was somewhere in Ho, you know, and that's where her story came from. Another person, we have a book coming out shortly, a coffee table book coming out very shortly, and I mean, grab your copy. It will detail beneficiaries sharing their story about how the CoRe program has been very insightful for them and how they have benefited from that. I hope you are one of them. But if you haven't sent us your CoRe story yet, I would encourage you, send us your CoRe stories, because we are going to do episode 2. So send your stories, send it to our website, core.com.gh, or you can even share it on social media, because we are actually doing a challenge as well. So we'll go for a short commercial break right now. When we return, we will have a beautiful, beautiful poetry recital. Don't go anywhere.
Ladies, it's your turn to be wowed. Join our CoRe Wow Challenge. All you have to do is to post a video of yourself and share your best experience so far on the eLead conference. And you could be the lucky winner of some amazing prizes. Use the hashtag CoReLead. The video with the highest shares and likes across any social media platforms wins. So what are you waiting for? Share your video now. Deadline for this contest is on the 24th of November, 2020. Winner will be announced on our final CoRe eLead conference in November.
What can you do with our funky jingle? Show us what you've got and win amazing prizes from the CoRe program. Record a video of yourself doing something creative with our CoRe jingle. It could be dancing, rapping, singing, anything. And share it with the hashtag CoReWow to make the entry. Videos will be shortlisted and winners will be selected from a poll by our beneficiaries. It's time to show the world what you've got. Join the CoRe Fun Ride. Contest ends on the 24th of November 2020. The winner will be announced via our social media handles.
Set aside your call and you see you got the MasterCard of life in you. And it's so true, it is past due. So don't let nobody deceive you.
Mazi. Bozikbofa. Bozigabo. This is about my people in my country, Ghana. Do you recall the figures that went on record? What about the figures that haven't? What about victims who didn't want to be statistics? I mean the figures we never know about. The night comes and I lay in wait. I await a dawn of a new day, a day that will bring joy, love to homes, respect for rights and choices. Allow me anti-clockwise to that black hole. 2 a.m., that day of the sun, sounded the gongs of complications at the center of life. Bad omen in the chief's palace. Abomination in the magistrate's heart. Sacrilege, they call it in the preacher man's home. See, the blood in the palace was that of the chief's 16-year-old wife who bled her dreams away on a matter of a forced marriage. The shame in the magistrate's head was brought by his only son, who terminated the pregnancy of the midwife's only child with concocted herbs. The death that wrecked the preacher man's home was that of his third child, who was gang raped and could not stand to see a trauma child in her. Yet, from my mad heart, I sat and watched on as baskets of life got perforated, holding lives no longer. While men in power play politics with issues of sexual and reproductive health and rights, I grumpily watched on as young pillars got drowned in pools of blood that emitted odors of grounded glass bottles, sharp objects, Guinness and sugar. Trust me, the weirdest of concoctions. I watched on as that which they frowned and kept mute on aggressively teared every living leaf off their branch before their due time. But you see, this wasn't the first time the planet turned dark. Or have you forgotten how you sat your day yelling and denying that sexually active teenager who walked your doors believing is a youth-friendly corner information on his sexual health? How you sat in that courtroom justifying her rape with her choice of dressing? How you stood on that pulpit preaching chastity, yet devouring the very things the young one take pride in behind closed doors? You do remember, right? Well, this day made it the countless time. Indeed, when the gongs of complications sound at the center of life, it calls for drastic measures. None of you which translates, when your neighbor's beard is on fire, keep water beside yours. But I say, dip yours into the water. I remember stories that emerged upon my friend's mother's death. She was in her late 50s. I was 12. I remember stories of how she died aborting a pregnancy she feared would become a subject for the public. I remember how stories came up that she refused to tell the doctors of her attempt to abort the child. She would have been saved if she had opened up in time. She would have been alive if she hadn't dreaded the shame of discrimination. She would have watched her grandchildren take their first leap if she hadn't been ignorant about the abortion law in Ghana. Well, I remember how we silenced that advocate who came up with message of sexual and reproductive health and rights, family planning, access to comprehensive abortion care. My friend's mother would have been alive if we hadn't silenced that advocate. She would have lived to see all the good. So yes, for how long are we going to sit unconcerned and watch our own become statistics for maternal mortality and morbidity? How long are we willing to resist for our communities to record the highest unsafe abortions? You will agree with me that open the spaces have been for years, yet unsafe to look the law in the face. Open the spaces have been for ages, yet filled with the fear of stigma. Open the spaces have been for generations, yet not free from cultural or religious beliefs. Rise up, you custodians of values of the religious. Speak up, you custodians of laws of the people. Act now, you custodians of customs and traditions of the land. For the good of our women, for the good of our people, for the good of our community, let us make this space a safe one. Let that space be devoid of ignorance. So I clockwise back to the night I lay in wait for a new day to dawn, a day that will transfuse into homes love, joy, and the respect for choices and rights. That day is here. That day is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ajovi, thank you for that piece. So we right back and we'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue this beautiful show.
It's your favorite Thursday night hangout here, and we want to make it even bigger. Join the CoRe challenge to win for yourself the Career Starter Pack Kit. Tell us, what is your biggest takeaway from our job readiness series, and you stand a chance of winning a book from Albert and Comfort Okran with other exciting prizes. You will also join them live on the CoRe Hangouts. All you have to do is share, retweet, repost with the hashtag CoRe Hangout across any social media platform. The post with the highest engagement wins. Deadline for this challenge is on the 24th of November 2020. The winner will be announced on our CoRe Hangout Showdown in November.
Wonderful. You can see we have a lot of challenges going on. So anyone that you're most comfortable with is yours to go. So I encourage you, if it is the Wow Challenge, if it's the story, if it is about how you would join, let us know how your moves are, whether your moves is the music or it is in poetry recital. Let's have the challenge going on live and colored. Right. So we are back in the studios here. We have questions from you, and I would encourage you, send us your questions so that we can get them answered by either Caris or James. You know, James is a chemist, and I mean, he's very modest when he says chemist, but I'll leave it there. I understand that. You know, he's, cool. But anyway, there we go. And as we continue this journey, you remember Caris told us about those 7 things all A's, including adaptability and being sure that your attitude, as well as the being altruistic. I was going to say altruistic, altruistic, you know, and all those things. And then he talked about VUCA. The VUCA came in about reality, and I was then saying that, well, I've actually heard of VUCA too. And that is vision, understanding, which is again accepting your reality, and then courage. And the A is adaptability. So there we go. So VUCA 2, vision, the VUCA 1 is more about the state.
Yes.
VUCA 2, I see, is your reaction.
And how you get out of that state.
How you get out of that state.
Yeah.
And that is very important. Excellent. Wow. Okay, so Sophia Bosumchi says that she's watching us from Esipon, and Mustafa Sumaila is saying that she's watching us directly from Kumasi. Nice. Mustafa, you are most welcome today. Right. So one question that I have got that I think people need to, would like to have answered is that, how do we maintain our general mental well-being?
That's a very good question. How do you maintain your general well-being? I think definitely the intangibles help, but beyond that, things like taking a break. If you're in a routine in the house, even if you're working from home, it can get to a point where it's so fluid that you are working till 10 a.m., 12, and you're constantly working. Oh, and Comfort is laughing.
It is so true.
But you need to have that time off, take a break, and just rest. If you have younger children, we don't quite have a choice because they'll make you take a break. But if you don't, then you need to put it on yourself and get yourself out of that. You know, in the beginning, we were so worried about COVID that people were not even coming out of their houses. Things are a bit better. I mean, if you go out, I wouldn't say that you should walk in a big crowd with people close with you, but you can still do a walk. And you will say, well, I don't have a park near me. The road is fine. Around the building is okay. Stretch a bit. Or exercise. Do a praise dance in your room. So that's something. So I think taking a break is really good. I think connecting with other human beings. You know, at some point we were calling it... what are we calling it? Was it social distance? Social distances. But now we want to look at it more as the fact that you are physically distant, but you are still socializing with people. So we are calling it physically distant, but still make that phone call. Still get on Zoom, you know, still connect and check on people. Because humans, the saying goes, no man is an island. Do not ask for whom the bell tolls. The bell tolls for thee. We are all interconnected. And when you don't have that connection, you wither up and die. So please check on your parents, your grandparents, your friends, and that really helps. So take a break, exercise, keep the social connections going. Those are the first three I would say you should do. And then once in a while, turn off the news.
Once in a while, Pay.
It's good to be informed, but please, let it not be a constant stream. Like it's on your phone, it's on your iPad, it's on the TV, your radio is blazing. It's too much, you know. Take a bit of isolation, or look out for good news. There are actually some awesome stories out there as well. There's some amazing recovery stories. We're happy to hear James today. And look out for those so that there's hope is built in you, because whatever you put in front of you, that's what you see. That becomes your reality. I like the VUCA, the vision. So keep your vision clear. Put some good stories there that can just make you realize that, you know, the future is not totally bleak. There is some hope. And there is a God who's watching out for us. So those are some of the things I would say.
Okay, right, excellent. So those are the mental well-being that you just how to maintain it. It's really helpful. I always share this story. I was not give, but I definitely told myself mentally that I had COVID-19, and I admitted myself in my own ward in my bedroom.
For how long? How long did
For
you?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay. What happened?
What happened? I mean, the funny thing, I don't know, for some reason, I felt I could not for the life of, I didn't have any cough. I had just a tickle in my throat.
Yes.
It was not a cough. It was just a tickle. That tickle was enough to set me off for 2 weeks and to say I have this thing. I think I went to the extent of taking about 400, the 1,000 ml. I took about 4 or 5 tabs a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I steamed myself. I flashed the system. I steamed myself. I gave myself all sorts of garlic and things, for 2 whole weeks. And when you come into the room, I will spray. I mean, so they just brought my meals to me. It was that bad.
Wow.
Yes, they just brought me my meals. So when you come into the room, when you leave, then I'll spray. Or before you come in, I'll spray the handle of the door. I'll open. You're supposed to be masked. You come and put the food down, and then when you go out, I'll spray the handle again.
Wow.
When I'm taking the tray out, I won't let them come in again. I'll spray the things
And
before I send it out. I was that coveted.
And you didn't want to do the test.
I did the test,
And
it was negative. But still, I put myself in my ward. My personal ward.
Wow.
Which Albert had to vacate because he was persona non grata in my ward. So the mental well-being is that important.
Yes.
But the funny thing is that in that state I was still working and writing proposals.
interesting.
Yeah. And it was in that time that we were cooking up this program. So we're still cooking in terms of working.
Yes, ideas and how it would work.
Ideas and how it would work. But then physically, I felt I was not well.
Wow. Did you think it could be a common cold? It could
No.
be something else?
I said I never sneezed. I never coughed. It was just a tickle. The tickle. No, exactly. But it was, and during that period.
Yes.
During that period, what I did was to regain that mental resilience.
Yes.
Was that I started watching, very, very funny things.
Okay.
Then I decided, and then my partner, Dr. Albert Okran, insisted that I go for a walk. So I'll go by myself, I'll wear my mask, and then I'll go for a walk.
Yeah.
And so that walk, seeing other people, seeing life, told me that, really, maybe look at this thing again.
Yes.
And so in the end I discharged myself.
But this, I like the way you're teasing about it, but it's a very serious matter.
Oh, it was.
It is. And it shows how the mind is so powerful. You can be convinced of either side.
Yeah.
You can be convinced that I am well, I am healthy.
Or
you can be convinced that this is it. And so even in medicine and from our practitioners as psychologists, we say that definitely the medics are going to do all they can. You can have two people walk in, have the same diagnosis. The doctor tell them in the same way that, this is what's going to happen. This is the prognosis. This is what we are going to do. One's attitude, one's belief, one's vision, one's hope will tell them that, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to beat this. And they will beat it.
Yeah.
And then the other one says, oh my goodness.
I'm
I don't
dead.
want to even use the word. I refuse to use it, but especially the tree version of it.
Yeah, look at me.
Or the one that was so common, June by this time. I refuse to say that. Not my household. My household, we will be flourishing in June.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
but it is the attitude that really makes such a difference. The mind is so important, and the heart as well. Your emotions, the seat of your emotions, are so important. So I like the fact that you watch things that made you laugh. That really helps.
Yes, it does. It does.
It really does.
Did you do anything like that?
Yes, I was watching things that I usually wouldn't watch.
Okay.
I usually watch action movies, but at that point, I started watching America's Got Talent, and sometimes some of the stories are so touchy, and the music and the performances, they lighten you up. Then I wasn't doing so much of news, but some of the news items also will get you thinking. At some point, I started doing exercises as well. And my wife was treating me to exceptionally good food during that season.
So are you trying to say that she has stopped?
She hasn't stopped, but
No, it's the exceptionally good food.
exceptionally good food. That was for the season.
Oh, challenge.
So if I had to go back then, then it means that I probably had to fall sick again. But like you were saying, so she did this, what do you call it, bisap, sobolo.
Okay, good.
This one was especially good because there was no sugar, and the spices were so into it, and then the thickness. And I told her not to let it boil, so we use a slow cooker. It doesn't really boil it, so it keeps the flavor and everything well,
and as well as the
and the nutritional value,
yes.
nutritional value in it.
Yeah.
So I was drinking that a lot. I'm a Coke fan, but during that time we were told to go off sugar a little, so I was doing that for a while, and maybe we'll go back to it sometime.
You know, interestingly enough, if we allow ourselves, you see, the problem is now people are wary. It's like this thing has gone on for 7 months. We are tired. Let it end. But there was a time when we got past the novelty and the fear. We got to a middle balance, and then people were looking around and saying, hey, I'm in this city where I've never seen the sky. But today, guess what? There's no smog. The cars are not out there, so I can see the sky. Or I've never seen the stars at night. The sky has cleared up. I can actually see. And they were talking about nature, healing itself. Because these are the positives we began to see. Some of those positives include the way we were eating. There were some gentlemen who, married or unmarried, every day was the roadside meal because they were on a rush, they were going somewhere, they were forced to be home. And so their wives were making exceptionally good meals for them to eat.
Oh, they were the ones making the exceptionally good meals
for the family.
For the family.
Excellent. You know, there were people, ladies who were like, you know, I can do a little app, even if it's 15 minutes of exercise, you know, and they were feeling better. So I'm just praying that when all of this blows away, which my prayer is it will soon, we pick the lessons as well. The things about taking care of yourself, taking a break to laugh, humor, exercising, letting go and just realizing that, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that those lessons we'll still keep them, because if we do, we'll be a better people. We'll be so much better.
Excellent. We'll be better people and we'll be so much better. Augustina Samari, you are watching us on Zoom. You're saying that I love this. Hope, faith, and love. You are joining from Yendi in the northern region. Thank you. We have Mohammed Yusuf. You are watching us from Tamale in the northern region, and you're saying, wow, attitude, great. Isaac Jamwa says, great and insightful submission, Karis. And then Christopher Binim says that you are from Tepa. Thank you very much. And then Abdul, you're watching from Tamale. You're also on Zoom. If anybody watching us on Zoom and you'd like to ask your own questions, I would ask you kindly put up your hand, and then we'll patch you through. So just put up your hand, we'll unmute you, and we'll patch you through. And you can ask a question in your own voice. On Facebook, can you send us a voice note, and we'll play that voice note for our personal to resource persons to what do you call it, to answer those questions. We have Theophilus answer, who says that you are reiterating your point in terms of putting the interests of those around you first and make sure that those around you are safe. Samuel Sowa is watching us from Gomwa Brofo, and then Theophilus answer says that you are watching from KNUST. Theophilus, you are a regular, and thank you for being with us all this time. I think we would do something special for you. Yeah, nice. He is a regular, definitely a regular. From Zoom. Thank you for being on Zoom and giving us all this beautiful works. And then Ajovi, this is from Andrew Duku, who says that you are lit. He simply loves your Afrikaans accent. And I know I love it too.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very, very cool.
Okay. So we have a question from Zoom on from Abdul Salam Ishahaku. And you're saying that what kinds of exercise should one involve in to release stress from working late in the night? He's joining from Tamale. So Abdul is asking, what kind of exercise should one be involved in?
Working late at night.
Yes, especially if you work late at night.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, if it's a shift job where the morning he gets to rest at home, then I would say that if he's able to sleep a bit, then a bit of maybe a jog or a walk or something. But at night, when you get home, I wouldn't say exercise right then. Because normally would say exercise a few hours before it's time to go to bed. So at that time, maybe he has very little time, he has to fall asleep. At that point, to relieve stress, I would say relaxation techniques. That is what I would suggest. Yes, so I would say things like having a bath, whether it's a warm shower and then a warm bath and then a cold shower just after. Having something very light. Maybe he's totally hungry, famished. Then I would say maybe a beverage, something light, nothing heavy that would sit.
No fufu.
No fufu, please. Although we always think fufu is any time of the day. Please, we are begging you, no fufu. Something light. And then lower, nothing to stimulate you too much. So those action movies at that time, your brain is working too fast.
You know? Karis, I mean, really, my best time of the day after a CoRe hangout is to open the TV on full volume and do some gusha. Don't take my gusha away from me.
There are two things. There are certain movies that will get you to relax. Yes. Those are the kind of movies I like to watch. You don't have to think. I would say they are low IQ movies. Yeah. You don't have to think to follow what's happening.
No.
So you're just watching things that are getting you excited. But if you are watching things that are really scientific and you have to follow and think who is doing this and what happened to this, then you are still working.
Yes,
because your mind is, you are still
hard.
thinking.
You're working hard.
Yeah, so things that can get you to distress after work, it's fine.
A friend of mine, not a friend, one of my, some people that I listen on podcast quite often, talks about actually taking the TV away the last 30 minutes before, or any screen activity. So don't think it's only the TV, it's your WhatsApp and so
iPad, everything.
For at least 30 minutes before you sleep. So you continue. You are giving a very nice and I came back
to add to the exercise. People think that exercise should always be something extra vigorous, which doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't.
So say you are in the office, you are doing longer, so you do a 12-hour shift, you do an 8-hour shift. In between, if it's a desk job, at some point you may want to stand up, stretch, swing your arms, throw your legs about a bit, maybe some 5 minutes and sit down. Or you could just get up and then pace back and forth within your same office confinement, take a seat. So all that is exercise. And it's good that you do it in bits and not that you stress yourself at once and then you go back to your very, sedentary lifestyle. Yes, it's good that you interspace it fairly well.
Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes you push yourself so hard also, then it actually gives you problems also.
Yeah.
We heard of one of the late vice presidents who died out of exercising. So it is not always that it has to be something vigorous. Because then even if you have a condition such as you may have had, or there's something else and you do something vigorous. So I, for one, I have never really gone jogging. I would usually start off with a walk, and with the walk, we'll start very casually for like a short distance. The next day, you take it a notch higher, then you quicken up the pace. You realize that your body is able to adapt through all these changes.
Yeah.
If you try to do all at once, you realize that you break down, and then you're back to square one. It doesn't really help that much.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
No, exercise is excellent. And I wish I had more of discipline to do that. I'm building on it. I used to play soccer. I was the captain of the girls' soccer team in high school. Yes, so
Yeah.
I was good, but
Yeah, it happens.
I'm gonna get better.
It happens.
I'm gonna get better.
No, but actually, so I have done it very simply.
Yes.
So for instance, at least in the morning, I do my 1 hour walk.
Okay.
In the morning.
Okay.
And then, as you were recommending, instead of going to sitting in my office and calling that, I want to see you, most of the time I'll walk to the person's desk.
That's really cool.
And then we talk about what we want to talk, and then and so on and so
Yeah,
forth. So
yeah.
so those little
little things.
walks, and even stretching keeps your body very supple and your joints and so on and so forth. So it's very simple. So Isaac, I believe we've helped you with your question. Simon from Owitu Breku, you say that you are talking about you say big ups to Caris and James and Ajovi. Your poetry is lit. You're saying that you like the lesson about putting your beard in water and not keep the water beside your beard. Thank you. And Yusuf is watching from Tamale. And Kelvin Kwanzaa says that very inspiring. I'm learning a lot. And Lily Andra is saying very inspiring. You are simply in love with the program. I'm in love with you too. Thank you so much. And Chris Kwashi, you say great show. And talking about great show, I want to encourage you. If you are there and you are listening to us and you've been part of our e-learning episodes, and you've done 10, I believe you received your certificate of participation. However, if you've completed 20, as some people have, you will be getting your certificate of completion shortly. So if you are there and you haven't listened to our e-learning episodes, my friend, you are doing yourself up, because the certificates have started flowing. I signed it myself, and I know they'll be flowing very soon. Napoleon will make sure that it does that. And right in the middle of this program, I want to pause. Say stop. Stop. Say stop. Stop. This stop action is for one and only PY, the Colossus. Today is his birthday. I want to shout out to PY. Thank you for making the Hangout such a beautiful thing, because you are there every time, making sure. Can anybody show us a picture of PY whilst PY, I beg you, when I come back. Meanwhile, when we were doing it, we had the privilege of Reverend Albert praying for him.
Oh, nice.
And one of the topics that we prayed about today, I mean, we're praying and everybody was quiet. And then they said, we pray for a great marriage partner. And then everybody in the office said, amen. So, we are working on this together with PY. So if there's somebody watching and because we want somebody as part of our family, right? As part of our family, anybody watching and he wants to be in this family. This is a great family to be in. The CoRe family, we are lit. Please. PY is advocating that they switch off the feed. So let's come back to our hangout. Let's come back to our hangout. E-lead is next week Wednesday. Lead is for only our ladies. It's just us. We hang out. We enjoy ourselves. And this E-lead time today, we are going to talk about the road to financial independence. Please. If you have anywhere to go, tell the person that you just need 2 hours. It's between 10 and 12 o'clock on Wednesday. Be part of it. And I tell you, you will not regret. We have people joining from Kenya, because we have one of our speakers is from Kenya.
Oh, nice. We
have another speaker who is also from Nigeria. And we have, of course, we have a Ugandan as well. So it's an Africa-wide e-lead. We are in Ghana, so if Ghana doesn't represent, so let's be here. Ladies, only Share it on your ladies platform anywhere you are, and be sure you are there as well. For our e-learning episode, we are looking at Dr. Esi Ansah is taking us through interviewing skills. So Charlie, you know the job is there, but we have to interview to get it. So be part of it. If you complete your 20 episodes, no, your certificate of completion is there. The minute you finish, Napoleon will send it to you. Napoleon is another young person, young man in this place. And Napoleon is also, you know. So, exactly. So that we'll get, because he likes Sobolo as well. So, please. Young ladies, I need people in my family, so I'm recruiting to CoRe family. Okay, right. Therefore, they will kill me. Okay, join me. Join our counseling sessions. We have professional counselors with the Ghana Psychological Association, and they help us provide counseling sessions to our beneficiaries, and we have different groups. So send the word counseling to our hotline 055-153-5533, or go to our website core.com.gh and send us a message. Jesus Counseling, because we have the link there. Or mentoring, where we have about various, about 60 or plus professional areas, whether it is from business or animal production or planting or electricals or farming or where else? We have the lawyers, we have the formal.
Wonderful.
We have both formal and informal and local language. We have the Ga, we have the Chi, we have the Akan, we have Chi and Akan. They are not the same. That a linguistic person can't say that they are not the same. We all know. But the language group is Akan, and then we have Hausa.
We have Ebe as well. Can I do a shout out?
Please do.
To my CoRe amazing group. I'm a counselor.
Okay.
So I'm just saying a quick shout out to you. I love you guys. I'll see you Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week.
Sure.
This counseling, this shout out, I want to, which of the groups is it?
So mine is CoRe Amazing. That's what we call ourselves. And we are amazing.
Yes. That means that you like the letter A.
Yes.
Because today you started with A. Your group is CoRe Amazing.
I didn't realize that.
What did you were you going to say something?
She's an A student, so.
She's an A student. So everything she's doing is A. Fantastic. You know, the conversation is simply amazing, but we unfortunately have to wrap up. Wow. We're going to start wrapping up. So please, James, would you like to tell us your final thoughts? And I actually try that when you come and you can speak any Ghanaian language or any other local language of your choice. Not any local language of your choice. If you want an international language, we are very fluid platform. So could you please tell us the summary of your thoughts for today, please?
Okay, so what I would say is that yes, now we've heard of a second wave, which means that there's still a responsibility to make sure that we still follow all the protocols. So although the restrictions might not be as it was before, it's still our responsibility that as responsible citizens, we mind the way we do things. I think just this evening I saw somebody post on Facebook that if you see her with a face mask on, it's not that she's afraid and not that she doesn't have faith and all those things. Yeah, faith still goes with wisdom, and we have to apply it because it's very necessary. But also, let's not live in fear. As I have said, most of us may have even passed through and not noticed that we've gotten it. I just got to know because of who I happened to be and when a test was carried out. So let's just not be afraid. Everything we'll go through. I mean, God is with us. And for those also who have the opportunity to serve the public by way of getting into businesses, this face mask was made by a wonderful friend of mine who is not trying to take advantage of the system, but making it as moderate as possible for everybody to be able to afford. When the things that we heard that people were selling face shields at some exorbitant prices, that is not the way to help your fellow man.
Yeah.
So do what is required of you and know that you are serving humanity. And best still, you still make what is due you. So thumbs out to Nadine as well.
Nadine is your wife, right?
No, my wife is Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Shout out to Elizabeth as well.
Yeah, for the exceptionally good food during those times.
Exceptionally.
Well, please, today, please do it.
A second wave of exceptionally good food.
You're a wise man.
Very wise. Karis, can you please give us your closing thoughts in any Ghanaian language of your choice, if you like? No, if I mean, you can continue where you started from.
I'm doing better with my kids. I have a book for them to learn ever.
Okay.
But I'll start in English. I'll just say that your resilience, your recovery, difficulties come in life. It might not be COVID. It might be a death of a loved one. It might be a loss of a job. It might be any big thing that shakes your world. It will definitely happen. But you have it in you, and you have grace. And if you're a faith-believing person, you also have that endowment. You can go through it, and you'll come out, and you'll be better. And you'll have a testimony which would actually impact so many people's lives. So hold on, don't lose faith, cling on to hope, and hold on to love, and you'll be able to come out of it. And just a quick international language, asanteni sana, Mungu akubariki, nilikuwa hapa na auntie yetu Comfort na ndugu yangu James, na tuliongea juu ya. Okay, now this is where I struggle. Resilience and recovery. So Swahili is the foreign language I speak.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Well, many years ago, okay, I actually did Swahili. Ooh. So I heard some of that, not everything.
Asante sana, thank you very much.
Yes, asante sana, thank you very much. Hujambo?
Hamjambo.
Yeah.
Now I'm lost.
No, we said hello.
Oh.
Even though we are ending, we can always say hello again. Right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Karis. Thank you so much, James, for being...
I have to say hello to my husband, I beg you.
Okay. Right, go right ahead.
Dr. Della Komla Ajosi, love of my life. Nyafeto, my head. I love you.
Charlie.
Love is sweet.
Right, some people are taking advantage. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Della. I said Della. Thank you so much, Karis, and thank you, James, for being with us this afternoon. You've made this program so exciting that Andrew says that there's so much energy and livelihood. It's a joy to watch us on the show today. And you asked a question, and now that will be my outro. What is the full meaning for VUCA 2? And VUCA 2, as I said, the V is for vision. V is for vision in terms of you envisioning where you want to go. Understanding is you. C is for courage. The courage to know, Karis talked about accepting reality. The courage to say that the vision that I have put out there, I will try and reach out. And then A is for adaptability. You see whether your strategy or the response that you are doing, is it working? If it's not working, how do you adapt to make what you or to get the results that you desire? And so in this period, we definitely need vision, we need understanding, we need the courage to move on, and then we have adaptability. Ladies and gentlemen who watched us today, both on Zoom and on Facebook, we are so privileged to come your way this evening. Next week, Thursday, we'll be here again, and we'll have so much fun because you don't want to miss it. Koda, for all the way from Second is going to be in the house, live and colored. Boy, I don't know where you got to go, so please tell people to come and join. Come and join. We would also have Koyo Youngson from the Super Morning Show joining us live here on the Thursday night hangout. So until we come your way again next week Thursday, that I know you are not going to miss, you're going to tell everybody to be here. It's been a real privilege coming your way. You know, we will go out with another lovely poetry recital from Ajovi. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
It is the best gift you can give yourself. Compare yourself not to others, for you might crush your imperfections, which are constantly striving for perfection. Pride yourself in your imperfections and allow them glow perfectly. Stand tall, chest out, cheeks up, and perfectly showcase what others see as imperfections perfectly. Love yourself and love yourself again. It is the best gift you can give yourself. Frown and wish not your body type be theirs, be it ectomorph, endomorph, or mesomorph. You are the best person who can walk in that body. So embrace your imperfections. Wow, not at your complexion, at the detriment of yours. Crave not a fair wine in exchange for your succulent black. Isolate yourself not because of your vitiligo patches and shine not from your albinic nature. Rather, embrace your imperfections and be a ray of hope to the discriminated. Love yourself and love yourself again. It is the best gift you can offer yourself. See, your imperfections does not in any way make you superior or inferior to others. Your imperfections make you unique. They make you you. They make you perfect. And that is enough. So love yourself and love yourself again. For it is the best gift you can ever hand yourself. Thank you.
Back to the basics. I brought one hour down so many times you don't want to even get up and just face it. You've been doing your best, trying to test every nest to find the best one you can lay in. That's why the CoRe project is here to help you gain skills to help you succeed and build your own nest. Springboard you to success. Nana, you go break through. Charlie, even COVID can defeat you. Search inside your core and you see you got the MasterCard of life in you. And it's so true, it is past due. So don't let nobody deceive you. I brought one here didn't crack. I say any that's so up. So this is what you should do. Charlie, still move.
Make us